Hello and welcome to Dardashat Cafe. Today I decided to make a series called the Evil Series. You may wonder, what? Evil Series? Why are we discussing this? The main point is to talk about evil, how good people become evil, and we're gonna go through this by discussing a book, then discussing some movies, and then we're discussing some novels, just to go really deep into the book. So before we go on, what is this book about? The book is called Lucifer Effect by Dr. Philip Zimbardo. So I want to mention about an incident that happened in 2004 when a series of photos shocked the world, which were the Abu Ghraib photos that showed a group of American soldiers torturing Iraqi prisoners. And of course, those people went into trial, and because it was a big scandal for the American government. Dr. Philip Zimbardo decided to write a book because the Abu Ghraib prison incident brought his memory back to 1971 when he held the Stanford prison experiment. Of course, everyone knows what the Stanford prison experiment was. He kind of like made an experiment when a group of volunteers, they were mostly college students, they were divided into two groups, a prisoners group and a police or guards groups. And then later, those two groups started abusing each other, especially the guards started abusing the prisoners, and that was after 6 days, and that experiment was suspended, although it was supposed to continue until the 15th day. So what happened later? Dr. Philip Zimbardo was traumatized by that experience, and he wanted to write the book, but he didn't feel that he was ready. So the incident at Abu Ghraib prison motivated him to write about the book and say, it's not like what George W. Bush said about those soldiers. It's not about a few bad apples, it's about the barrel itself. What does he mean by this? He means that the problem is not with the individuals, it's with the system. Every person is capable of turning evil. It's not like we're the good guys, we're not going to be evil anyway. No, every person can be good, can be bad, according to the situation they're setting. How does it work? So a system sets up a bunch of formal rules, and people usually forget their personal identities inside that system, and they act according to that system. For example, Dr. Philip Zimbardo on the first day of Stanford prison experiment gave some rules to the guards. The guards started following those rules and forcing those prisoners to follow that rules. And when those prisoners didn't follow the rules, they started abusing them. And that also works when you wear a uniform, when you're given a title, because when you have a title, when you wear a uniform, your way of thinking changes entirely in your brain. You start to think, for example, you're a police officer, you're wearing a uniform, you start to act like a police officer as you think that police officers should be. When your title is a teacher, you act as what you think teachers should do. So this is the thing about the systems, what they do, and so on. And this is also why totalitarian systems are very dangerous, because they tend to make people forget about their personal identities and give them the rules that may make them act in a way that is alien to their nature. So this is the whole idea of the book. And the book goes through a lot of the details on how people gradually become evil. So I would highly recommend you all to read this book. And I have to mention, there were a lot of movies that made about this book. The first one was a German film called Das Experiment. In English, it's called The Experiment. And then there was another American version called The Experiment as well. I think in 2010, it was released in 2010. And then Zimbardo watched those movies. He wasn't really impressed, and he described them as exaggerated. And then he worked with a famous screenwriter on releasing a movie that talked about what actually happened in Stanford experiment, just to show people what actually happened without any without any flashy details and so on. So I would highly recommend you all to watch the movie, the one that was written by Philip Zimbardo. And then like in the next episodes, we're going to talk about two of those movies that were made about this Stanford prison experiment. We're going to talk about two movies that are related to the theme of this book, just to go into more details about this book. And because I'm just giving you a snapshot about what this book is, and it's really important for you all to read this book. And then we're going to talk about two novels. It's going to be 1984 and Lord of the Flies. So just to go further into details. So I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and I would like you all to read this book just to go step by step with the novels, with the movies, and so on. I will leave the description in the box and the links of the book on Goodreads, and the links of IMDB for the movies that were made about the Stanford prison experiment. So thank you all, and I hope to see you next time.
What about you? What do you think? Share your comments and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.